It's certainly mesmerizing, isn't it? It's probably the word that best defines the stunning photographic capabilities of this little beast. The truth is, it can mesmerize anyone who takes photos with it. I'm not exaggerating. This channel has been around for 10 years, and I've never seen such power in something so small. I'm not just saying this because of the photography. If you're one of those people who like compact, lightweight, slim, and easy to handle smartphones, but you don't want to lose any power and you still want to have top-notch cameras, pay attention to what the brand Vivo has just introduced. The VIVO X300 Ultra Mini. Sorry, I meant the VIVO X300 FE. And it's actually very easy to confuse them, especially because of their performance, as you'll see next. By the way, I'll give you the best photos I took with this little beast at the highest resolution, uncompressed, and you'll understand why it could very well have been called the X300 Ultra Mini. You've already seen the unboxing. USB to USB-C cable and a case, which is included, a silicone case. And here you can see, in all its glory, the VIVO X300 FE. It weighs less than 200 grams, which is appreciated. And it's very small with that 6.3 1-inch screen, which I'll talk about later. It's made of matte glass, the back doesn't get dirty easily, and the frame is made of aluminum. As for the ports, it has a USB Type-C 2.0A microphone, a speaker, and here is the SIM tray. As you can see, it has a blue rubber seal. This certifies that it has IP69 dust and water protection. On the other side, as you can see, it's all aluminum, and the power and volume buttons have good travel. On the top, there's another microphone, another speaker, and an infrared port. And on the other side, there is absolutely nothing. I really like the new design of this FE, and with that new camera island, it looks more luxurious. It not only looks good, but it also feels great in the hand, thanks to its size. And like I keep saying, if you like small phones, you're going to love this one. But before I show you what the smallest phone with the best camera can do right now, let's talk about the screen. And this little gem comes with a 6.3 1-inch AMOLED screen, Full HD plus 120Hz. And by the way, you're seeing it compared to an iPhone 17 Pro Max. Honestly, it looks pretty small, like I mentioned, and I think this way you can appreciate it better. I'll put it through tough tests because protection from dust and water is one thing, but how devices handle it is another. And at this point, you already know that the iPhone 17 Pro Max didn't do well at all. Even with the latest updates, as I showed in a previous video, its screen would go crazy with just a little bit of water. On the other hand, this VIVO X300 FE, as you can see, works perfectly. I also like all the eye protection options it has, including PWM. Plus, the screen customization is excellent. In terms of quality itself, the colors look great, the sharpness is incredible. In this case, this LTPO AMOLED panel has 10 bits. Remember, for example, that the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra, which is much more expensive than this one, only has an 8-bit panel. It also features HDR and a peak brightness level of 5000 nits. However, on the downside, something I didn't like is that the brightness sensor is a bit sluggish, a bit conservative, and sometimes I've had to manually increase the brightness because in some situations I think it stayed too low. Hopefully they can fix or improve this in future updates, but let's get to the crown jewel. And just look at this zoom lens. In fact, it's practically bigger than the smartphone itself. What you're about to see next in such a small, compact smartphone, in terms of photography, I think has never been seen before. Check this out. And it's actually a second-generation Zeiss telephoto extender. You're already seeing the case, for example, which has velvet on the inside, a pretty non-slip rubber on the outside, and also an aluminum piece as well. But just look at this beauty, which also has some weight to it. It feels absolutely luxurious. Just by picking it up and feeling its weight, you already know you're holding something powerful. But now you're going to see the result and you'll perfectly understand what I'm talking about. When you put it on, you can see it has a kind of sliding rail. It's very easy to do. Once it's properly fitted, the points on both the zoom and the casing have to line up. You twist it, and honestly, it stays in place pretty well. It feels solid. Even though the smartphone is very small, just 6.31 inches, it feels really good, very sturdy. It's practically like you're holding a professional camera, which costs much more than what this smartphone is actually worth. But I want to let the tests speak for themselves. Take a look at what this VIVO X300 FE is capable of with this second generation zoom extender. If you click up there on the left, you go to that zoom icon. Here you indicate that it's installed and that you want to activate it. And you can see how close everything gets. Take a look at this watch. The truth is, it's really, really far away. You can see that it can zoom up to 5,400 millimeters. This is crazy in such a small, compact smartphone, just 6.31 inches. You can already see the results. It uses a lot of artificial intelligence, but still looks good. I think Vivo has improved this too. The good thing is that Vivo also lets you configure and decide if you want more or less AI processing. But let's move on to the next example, and I'm telling you, it's crazy. You can already see that little dot on the horizon, that boat. You'll see how close we're going to get with this zoom. And once I apply the zoom, look, 200 millimeters, I'm going to keep taking pictures so you can later check how they really look. 400 millimeters, 800 millimeters, and 1,600 millimeters, which are the default ones. You already know up to 5,400 and you can practically see the crew. I insist the level that photography has reached nowadays is unbelievable. Not many years ago, you're already seeing the result. Really impressive, especially considering the size and how far away it was. It's that little dot you see on the horizon. And the fact that you can have a zoom this powerful in something so small in your pocket is absolutely insane. For those who love technology, and I include myself here. But let's move on to the rest of the camera features. As you can see, it has super macro. That was the first thing I wanted to check. It's something I missed in the V70. Here it does have it. In the VIVO X3, I love the super macro. Later, you'll see some amazing photos I've taken with that super macro. You can see that it has digital zoom up to 100x. It features a main camera of 50 megapixels, a 3x telephoto camera of 50 megapixels, and an ultra-wide angle camera of 8 megapixels, and a 50 megapixel selfie camera. The rest of the setup is very similar to the other Vivo phones I've reviewed on this channel, but it has landscape and night modes, which I really like. Also, there are some creative modes, and this alternative camera that I personally like a lot. I think it's also more creative, more professional. And in Pro mode, you can see it has an exposure time of up to 32 seconds. At this point, if you like Vivo's best photography, you'll get it in a very compact size. Regarding the AI, let's see how it does with erasing. It was something I criticized in previous versions. You can already see that it's pretty fast at processing it, and it does it very well. This time, it really has improved. But let's look at these great photos that this small smartphone is capable of taking. Look at that red circle. There's a statue inside. So what can this zoom do? Boom. You're already seeing the incredible power of the second generation zoom. Extended zoom, I'm telling you, the pack isn't much more expensive than the smartphone. I think it's worth it, especially if you're one of those people who loves to zoom in. And the quality is top-notch too. You can see it. The sharpness, the contrast, the dynamic range. What they've achieved is incredible. You can already see it, for example, in these images. How the statues look. Also, the level of detail in the stone, the roughness. It's really impressive. And once again, look inside that red circle. This is what I was seeing. And once again, boom. It's incredible what this zoom is capable of. Also, the colors, the contrast, everything feels really top-notch. And I insist the AI feature can be turned off or adjusted. But how is this VIVO X300 FE without the extended zoom? I mean, it's normal zoom. Well, you're seeing it right now. And it doesn't really do a bad job. I mean, you don't need to carry around that extended zoom. Or if you forget it at home, don't worry. Because as you can see, it also does a decent job. But what about the rest of the images? Well, you're already seeing the dynamic range. You're seeing the sharpness. In the end, this is Vivo. And Vivo is synonymous with good photos. You already know this. Also, in comparison, for example, with the V70, since it has the best Snapdragon available right now, the ISP is also better. And this gives it another advantage. It's a step above. Obviously, something I missed on the V70, as I told you, was the super macro. You can see it now. The photos it's able to take right now, since it's spring, with the super macro, they're a delight. The sharpness, how you can see the petals of the flowers, the texture. Honestly, it's amazing. If you like photography, but not phones that are too big, check out this VIVO X300 FE. So, how does it do at night? Well, for example, in this monastery, there was barely any light, and you can already see how it interprets the colors, how it's able to enhance the little light there was at that moment. And it does it quite well too, although the more you use digital zoom. Obviously, it's going to struggle more in these low light conditions, and now let's move on to the videos from this little beast, because they're also surprising. Video shot with the VIVO X300 FE. This is how its stabilization would look, and this is how its microphones would sound. In this full HD resolution at 60 frames per second, and now we switch to 4K at 60 frames per second. Same resolution, but now at 120 frames per second, and maximum resolution 8K at 30 frames per second. Even at this resolution, I'm still surprised. The on-screen stabilization looks pretty decent. And a promise is a promise. I'm going to give you the best photos I've taken with this VIVO X300 FE at the highest resolution. That means uncompressed on my Telegram. I'll leave the direct link to the Telegram below in the video description, and you're seeing double tap to wake, double tap to lock, and it has an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. For me, it's the best unlocking method that exists right now because of its speed, its reliability, and so on. And everything works very smoothly, very well. And something else I liked is the vibration motor. It feels strong. And you're already seeing the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 hardware, the best of the best right now, in a very compact form factor. It also comes with 256 GB of storage and 12 GB of RAM, plus another 12 GB of virtual memory, UFS 4.1 at this point. On the other hand, it comes with stock Android 16 with the original's 6 interface. And apparently it's going to get up to 5 Android updates. Obviously, with this powerful hardware, you can run everyday apps like Instagram without any problems. If we push it further, for example, with Google Earth, you can see that all the transitions are absolutely smooth. There's no lag at all here. Also, the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 6.0 GPS, and 5G data all work perfectly. Obviously, we're dealing with Qualcomm Snapdragon's best processor. Therefore, this was to be expected. I also haven't noticed this VIVO X300 FE getting excessively hot. Obviously, it can handle any game you throw at it. With this processor, there's no doubt about it. Plus, at a good frame rate. But let's talk about the two speakers. How do they sound? Not just through the speakers, but also if you connect a 3.5 millimeter audio jack through the USB Type-C. That is, with an adapter. It has some super resolution features that I recommend turning on. And some audio modes, honestly, they're pretty good. And this is how this small but powerful smartphone would sound. The music's 3D effect is really powerful and impressive. Now then, let's talk about the battery. It's barely 8 millimeters thick, but they've managed to fit a 6,500 milliamp hour battery into this small smartphone. It has 90 watt fast charging with 40 watt wireless charging as well, and it also has reverse charging. It can last you 2 days without any problem. Of course, if you use the camera a lot, this might go down to a day or a day and a half, since I think that's the feature that uses the most battery. I also like all the battery protection software it has, and it's also a next generation battery. That is, it's going to withstand more charging cycles, and it also handles both extreme cold and extreme heat better. It will cost 999 euros, but if you want to include the charger and the amazing telephoto lens you've seen, it would be 1,099 euros. Also, if you subscribe to the newsletter before April 29th, you'll receive the new VIVO Watch GT2 as a gift. I'll leave all the information in the purchase link below in the video description. In conclusion, and I think I've repeated this almost like a mantra in this video, if you like small smartphones without giving up on power, I think that's what you always had to sacrifice in phones this size. Thanks to the new VIVO X300 FE, that doesn't have to happen anymore. I hope you liked this video. If you're a fan of small phones, you're definitely going to like this one. You know, you can leave me any questions down below in the comments. And if you're one of those people who, besides loving technology, also loves nature, you know, leave me a like, subscribe, and share this video, because that would help me a lot to keep making this kind of unique content. And now, I'll see you in the next video. Take care and see you soon.